Boxing Social here with Eddie Hearn. 2017, great year for British boxing, just like you said. Is this the ideal ending that you were hoping for?
Well, obviously we had Hey Bellew scheduled for next Sunday. Would have been a great ending as well. But there's something about York Hall. There's something about this kind of show. And you know, in a world that mostly these days we're in stadiums and 90,000, 80,000. Something about York Hall, you know, and something about people that have been there, like me, since a kid. I'm probably more excited about this fight than I have been for a lot of nights in 2000. And I know that's weird, yeah, but it's just, I just love it. You know, it's so intense. I'm such a huge Katie Taylor fan. I'm such a big believer in Katie Taylor and what she is as a person, as a fighter, as a product, as a brand. And I believe now we have a fight with Jessica McCaskill, who you've seen from up there. This is serious, and this is great for the sport. It's a great fight. Forget women's boxing and men's boxing. It's a great fight, and so many other great fights and great talents on the card as well.
Talking about Katie Taylor, what are your plans for Katie Taylor? Because obviously some might think that there could be a possible opportunity to build a Ronda Rousey type of thing here. Do you agree? Or
yeah, listen, I mean, Katie Taylor is not, you know, she's not really interested in being a celebrity, you know. My job is to give her a little bit more interest in that. She's a fighter, and sometimes you have to use someone's attributes to sell them as a brand, and that is what Katie Taylor is. There's no point trying to put her in a glittery dress and walk her up the red carpet. It's not what she's about. She's a fighter through and through. She's one of the most entertaining fighters in world boxing. Not female boxing, not men's boxing, in world boxing. So you just have to showcase her. That's what you have to do. And everyone who's watched every one of her fights has left with the same feeling. I love that. I want to see it again. But now you're actually getting to the real fights. You know, like you saw in Cardiff on October 28th when she won a proper fight. And you're going to see a proper fight on Wednesday night as well. So, you know, I think really the brand Katie Taylor's just going to go up and up. We plan to go to Ireland next year for the first time. We want to see her unify the division. But first things first, get through Jessica McCaskill on Wednesday.
Thoughts about Barry McGuigan and Chantel Cameron? McGuigan has said that Cameron has more explosive power than Katie Taylor. Thoughts about that?
I haven't really seen a lot of Chantel Cameron. I mean, look, she's doing really well. It's brilliant that there are options and rivalries and opponents, because that's what makes the sport grow. You've got Natasha Jonas, you've got Chantel Cameron. Brilliant. I mean, our aim is to unify, but we need as many opponents as possible for Katie Taylor. So that's a great fight for her down the road. In terms of explosive power, I'm not so sure, but I haven't really seen enough of Chantel Cameron, but I understand she's a good talent. Natasha Jonas is a great talent. For me, right now, there is no better, no bigger star in women's boxing than Katie Taylor. She's head and shoulders commercially, you know, in terms of the draw. She's headlining her own show on Sky Sports, which is great for her, great for women's boxing as well. But again, I keep going back to, people talk about women's boxing, and I know it's like PC, but just forget it, just watch, right? Watch and tell me if you're entertained. That's all I ask, and you will be. And that's why, you know, I think it's been a great year.
Going back to the card on Wednesday, what are some of the other fighters that you're looking forward to see?
Well, I think Josh Kelly, who was stuck in the snow today, I think this is one of the standout talents so far. I think he's been incredible so far since his debut. I think that Adam Booth is looking to push him very, very quickly. He has a 10-round fight on Saturday night, and really stepping well up to sort of a guy who's challenged for European titles as well. You're going to see him move very quickly in 2018. British European level in the first half of the year for Josh Kelly. Conor Benn, I think, is the most improved fighter of 2017 in the country. You've got a great light heavyweight matchup between Jake Paul and Miles Shinkwin. Lawrence Okole's looking to end the year with a bang. Ted Cheeseman's about to fight for the British light middleweight title. Felix Cash is a great middleweight prospect. Joe Cordina, I think, is one of the best prospects in world boxing right now. So it's just a stacked card, and Gamal Yafire's on the card as well. You know, it's non-stop action from 5 p.m. and you know, like I said, I really can't wait to get to York Hall and just feel the atmosphere of all the different fights.
Did you catch any of the boxing this past weekend?
I watched Stephen Smith's fight against Vargas, thank you, Ron. I thought he started too slow, but he was in the fight, and obviously the injury was terrible. I caught the highlights of DeGale.
Thoughts about that?
It's a crying shame. I think you've got a guy in James DeGale. Like, the worst thing you can be in boxing is a free agent. Do you know what I mean? And he was making out that it's such great that he's a free agent. How can you not have a rematch clause in a voluntary defence?
Yeah, that was
like, this is incredible. And people aren't looking out for him. That's the bottom line, because you can't have a voluntary defence.
Would you ever want to work with him again?
Yeah, listen, I don't think he'll fight again. I think that'll be it for him. I think he hasn't got the desire that he once had. I don't think he's in love with the sport of boxing. I texted him yesterday and I said, maybe this is what you need, because sometimes, like, something's got to be taken away from you to make you realise how much you want it. And now this has been taken away from him. Now he has nothing. He doesn't even have a rematch clause. I mean, if he had a rematch clause, that's a big fight, that rematch. It's just madness. So he's going to have to start from the bottom for money he's going to hate, and I think he may walk away. But the job that people have, his career from winning that world title, the way it's been managed, has been all over the place. All over the place. And he could have been a huge pay-per-view fighter in the UK. But I feel for him, I do, because he's gone into that fight and now he's in the complete wilderness. And that is because he hasn't got someone watching his back.
Speaking of wilderness, Joshua Parker negotiations, anything you can...
I think
they're published.
They are crazy. Yeah, I spoke to David Higgins last night, and for all his craziness, he knows what he's doing. There's a method to the madness. We're close. We're not there. We've made some concessions now on our side, which we don't think we should have, but we have. And they've made some concessions that they don't think they should have, but they have. So it's the fight. It's the fight to be made next. So I'm hoping before Christmas we can get over the line.
The key word in the story has been split, as you probably know. Is it 65-35?
Not for me, it's not. I mean, you have to look at, it's very boring and the fans don't really like to, but you have to look at what Joseph Parker brings to the fight beyond Carlos Takam. He brings the belt. Okay, but what revenue does he bring? Like when we boxed Klitschko, he bought worldwide TV. He bought German TV for millions of euros. Okay? When we fight Wilder, he'll bring the opportunity of US pay-per-view. He won't bring it, but that fight will bring it. Joseph Parker brings about $500,000 worth of New Zealand TV. So, but we have to respect him because he's a belt holder and we want the fight. So Joshua will probably earn the same or less in a fight with Parker than he will in a fight with Takam. So how does that make sense? Well, it makes sense because we want the belt, we want to unify. It's not about the money, but it's my job to make sure that we get the right deal. Joshua wants to fight. Of course he wants to get paid as much money as possible, but my job to make the right decisions and the right calls, and he puts a trust in me to do that. So I'm not doing my job if I deliver a deal that I do not think is right. But at the same time, we have to realise that if we want the fight, we're going to have to sign a deal that's not right. That's just how it is.
So, and you are prepared?
We're already at that point.
Yeah.
I don't think the deal's right. But we want that belt. Sometimes you don't get an opportunity to unify, and this is an opportunity, and we believe we can win the fight. And if we do, we're one belt away from being undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So that's the ultimate goal.
Finally, I believe Tyson Fury is having his final hearings today, Monday.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What's your take on that?
I mean, look, we all want him back in the sport. I'd love to work with him. I've said before, I can deliver the Anthony Joshua fight. Of course, we're the only people that can. And I think Joshua would like that fight, but he has to get back on the horse. Yeah. He has to prove that he's back in the game. And if he can do that...
Have you seen his training videos recently?
Yeah, but it means, it's about 30 seconds long. You don't know if after that video he's on the floor. But he's never going to not look like he's got good movement. But training is more than doing 30 seconds on the pad sticks. It's more about intense training, sprints, long runs. You know, we haven't seen any of that. And he's got a long way to go, but I believe his head's in the game. If he can get the decisions with UK, then he's got to go before the ball. He can come back in 2018 and we can build a massive fight.
One word to summarize the year that was in boxing, 2007.
Epic. It's been a great year. And sometimes you don't look, I mean, don't forget, Klitschko Joshua was in April. I mean, like, it seems like it was about 5 years ago. That was the biggest event ever in British boxing. Now, then we did it again in the Millennium Stadium, 80,000 people. Kell Brook against Errol Spence, 26,000 people at Bramall Lane. Hay Bellew won. You know, Burns trying to unify against Ndongo, Crawler Linares, Crawler Burns, Ryan Burnett winning the title, Ryan Burnett unifying the title. You know, other fighters, Luke Campbell taking on Linares, and it's been a mad year of non-stop action.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but where's there going to be an announcement on Kell Brook's fight?
Today. Yeah, today. Today.
Not right now, though.
Not right now. No, not right now.
You can't blame me for trying.
Okay,
Eddie Hearn,
no worries.
thank you
Thanks
very
a lot.
much.